With me now, national security expert, contributing writer to the Washington Times, and author of the new book, Lost Bastards, A Story of Honor, Courage, and Redemption, Todd Wood. Todd, North Korea right now is threatening the U.S. with a thousands-fold revenge after the latest round of sanctions. Should we be concerned?
Well, North Korea is definitely a threat. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, they are an existential threat in primarily the means of launching a nuclear weapon that doesn't need to be real accurate, but just explode in the air above the United States, which can shut down our electric grid. Which would in turn shut down medicine, food, water for a long time, and would kill a lot of Americans. So yes, they are a serious threat, and I'm very glad that finally someone, President Trump, is actually dealing with the problem.
And North Korea obviously has been hit with sanctions over and over again. So do you think this latest round is actually going to be a successful tool?
I think it definitely has hurt the North, and the fact that Trump got Russia and China on board to at least not veto the sanctions, and it was a unanimous vote from my understanding in the Security Council, is a huge diplomatic win for the Trump administration. Whether it will stop the North, I seriously doubt it, and now we have to watch for enforcement of the sanctions. But the point that Americans should take is that President Trump has applied pressure to China and to Russia where it hurts. I think he's probably threatened sanctions on Chinese banks which are funding North Korea, possibly trade action, and possibly thrown the carrot of reduced sanctions for the Moscow government. So I think this is really a diplomatic coup for the president.
And we have seen China just completely stay away from this North Korea issue for some time. So it is surprising to see that, China did respond. And, a lot of people want to know, why would China wait so long?
I think it's basically the art of the deal. I think, everybody's done a lot of talking now for several decades, going back to Bill Clinton saying the problem was over, which it obviously wasn't. Madeleine Albright gave Kim Jong-un's father a basketball signed by Michael Jordan to try to solve the North Korean problem. So finally we have a president who is actually placing pressure on the points that can get results. And, we'll see whether we can avoid military action, but this is a really good day for people who want to stand up to North Korea.
And when it comes to North Korea, how would you compare side by side the Trump administration versus the Obama administration? We know that North Korea was doing, a lot of these missile tests during Obama's time in office. And, we'd hear a lot of, scolding coming from the Obama administration, you better not do this, or, we're going to take serious action. So how would you compare? I mean, it sounds like the Trump administration, they're taking it more seriously.
Oh, for sure. People ask about the Obama administration. I would say don't listen to what they said. Look at the results of their actions, which is an Islamic caliphate spread across the Middle East, which is a North Korea, developing nuclear weapons, which can target and hit the United States. It's an Iran, which is acquiring nuclear weapons. It's only a matter of time due to their so-called deal. So, Obama talked a lot, but there was no results. And what you can talk about the agenda behind that. But the Trump administration is night and day as far as only in a few short months, look at what he's been able to accomplish.
Well, and Kim Jong-un, his reaction alone says a lot. I mean, he's furious about this. So obviously it's really going to hurt them. And, this brings me to my question. North Korea is so poor, and yet, how could they get, be on this path to a nuclear weapon? And a lot of people don't realize that this started under Bill Clinton's administration.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the North Korean people are going to be hurt by these sanctions. We've tried for years now to just target certain individuals or certain companies that are involved in the nuclear development or the regime itself. But now we're really, it's not just the materials and financing and everything that's going to the weapons program, but it's coal exports. It's everything that North Korea uses to get hard currency. And you're right, about 1/3 of their funds every year are going to be cut off. So it's a significant hit against the regime. And, but the real, proof in the pudding, if you will, is the enforcement. So that's to be seen.
And did you have any comments on, Bill Clinton basically paving the way for a nuclear North Korea? And it's very similar to what the Obama administration did with Iran, in a sense that, they thought that they would prop them up and, we'd all be friends and it would all work out in the long run. And then, oh, wait, it didn't. And a lot of people guessed that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you look at the Clinton administration, and I would say even in the Bush administration, enabled to some extent with all the continued negotiations for decades that got nowhere, and allowed them to develop behind the scenes and also provide technology to Iran. So we've got a real serious situation. It has to be dealt with, and I'm glad Trump is finally confronting it.
Yeah, and this is something that we're gonna have to keep a close eye on. North Korea is a threat, like you said, and probably one of the biggest threats facing our country right now. Todd, thank you for your insight.
You bet. Take care.